I'm allegedly streaming.
Alacrity?
Uh, allegedly. How did he get that key? Anyway. Okay. 19 responses total. I know some people went through
Um,
twice, I think.
22, actually.
no, there's 22. 3 people have submitted since you opened it earlier, and I just switched it off.
All right, there we go. 22. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay. Overall opinion? Pretty good. Some outliers. Not the worst we've ever had. Bit too long. Probably from the later start, I'd wager.
Um, is
Okay.
YouTube streaming?
It says it's accepting something. I don't know if it's actually going or not.
It's not going on my end.
Yeah, okay. I think need to start that the hard way. Oh, it still isn't back yet. Well, anyway, we'll go with what we got. First up, Nate's stuff. Priest looking pretty good. Pretty good. A little too strong on the Reaver. Otherwise, pretty good spread here. Railgun is well liked, and the guided rocket turret is not. For the majority of these comments, I've read through them before. It was about the railgun centipede. That will be resolved. We already have the solution ready to go. I just need to put it on the servers and worlds and all that. Essentially just adding a space in front of the barrel to prevent the projectile from clipping into the thing in front of it, and then keep going until it finds a space to spawn in. So don't count on that being a feature. Classic peacemakers are too weak, and they're overcooked. Not too sure about that, but we did find and solve an issue with the peacemakers having their asteroid, or rather voxel damage, turned on, and the world having it off. So every time you shot a new asteroid, it would hitch the server, asking if the asteroid was okay with damage. And when the asteroid simply said no, the server got upset. That was fixed though. Otherwise, yeah. Now, one of the interesting parts that Nate found here was the Apollo turret, which is just a turreted Artemis, is fully functional, ready to go, and we could put it in as an option. I don't know what the general feeling about that is, but it's just turreted Artemis. Nothing wacky or special about it.
I would only add it if you plan to replace the Sylvius.
Yeah. I mean, you could have the Apollo as kind of like a heavy-duty Sylvius instead of just a multi-fire one like the Cerberus.
Yeah, it's an option. I can unrestrict it from the servers, and we can try testing with it. Why the railgun and rocket turret the only vanilla weapons? Because those of you who haven't been following the funny toolbar crashing thing, turns out when you have a missile turret based turret and a conveyor sorter based turret, and you tell them to do the same thing in a group, it just crashes your game. That's okay though, we have a solution. Norse Heavy Industries. A little bit more contentious this time around. Got the Surtur, Acer, and Veneer, all good.
Persons.
That's okay. Just gonna turn them down a little. There you go. It's all good. Cold Cannon's looking pretty good. Thumper, still not the best. Pretty much the same for everything else. The Heimdall, pretty much universally liked, and the Hurricane, universally pretty weak. And the Battleship Cannon's following close behind. So a few options for that up front would be to A, reduce the cost. B, increase their damage. C, increase the rate of fire. D, all of the above. Those are the things that first come to mind. Could also increase their shell HP quite a bit, but don't want to go too far with just slapping damage onto things or dropping the points of it. maybe just a speed buff. Not sure. Let's see. Hurricanes. Pretty much. Here we go. I think you nailed the PDable shells for the most part. PDable shells have completely failed. So all that's happened is an internal game of whack-a-mole on guns that sets up the idea entirely. Those who don't get the memo are left wondering why they do less damage now with their big shiny gun. Interesting dichotomy here. There are some projectiles, notably the things like the Tempest and maybe even the Hurricanes, where they're kind of out of position and require quite a bit of spam to get through a standard PD screen. So maybe the Tempest shell projectile velocity can go up and its health go up. Or drop the cost. But I think I'm more on board with dropping the cost and giving a speed buff. Most unbalanced pack. Larger AOD. Yep. Okay, so for the Gugnir, believe its primary issue right now is not quite hitting the target with its clusters. Not too sure how to really solve that. Nothing's too wrong with the projectile itself. It might just need to be retired until Check gets back to work on it.
Yeah, I'd say for that for control retirement if need be.
What was that?
I'd say throw that for potential retirement if need be. See what the consensus is.
Well, I don't know about retirement forever, but in the state it's in, it's not in a great spot, and I don't have a fast and easy solution to fix it, other than, I don't know, reducing the cost. That's always an option.
I'd reduce its cost, make it more lovable.
Yeah, we could just try dropping the cost. What, 50, 75, 100?
Considering the alternative is to wait for Chet to do something while he's on holiday.
Yeah.
We might as well try fixing it ourselves.
I don't want to dig my hands too deeply into that when I got a bunch of other
Well, when
places
I say
to-
fix something, I mean like points.
Okay. Yeah, in that
Rather than
sense of
effort.
just dropping some points off of it.
Drop it by 100, and then if it seems to be fitting too strong, just slide its BP up a little.
300. We don't have that many 300 point scans anymore. It's already
Yeah.
kind of complicated to fit, so you don't have to. Well, you do have to worry about people spamming it, but it's going to be very hard and complicated to spam it.
Big
It's not very
user
comfortable
base.
to spam. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Gugnir. BP reduction. 452, 300. Sure. See, that works. Let's see. Fenrir's and Jotuns. Those ones are also interesting. Figure we can drop points on them before messing with their stats.
Yeah, another one that's just drop the points, see how people use them.
Yeah. Not too much, but let's see. What is their current cost? There we go. Okay. So 275 on the sheet. $225 is a suggestion, so 50-point reduction. $225, that doesn't seem unreasonable. I think we can manage that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, let's go.
Yeah, agreed.
I know, I'll just point this out. It seems we've kind of glossed over the Hurricane. But that gun does need some serious love to make it good.
It's kind of an open question of exactly what it needs.
Like, I think the suggestion I made is sort of making it like a slinger tier gun where it's, well, 130 points, well, maybe 150 points for the Hurricane, but it's a dirt crap gun, but it's cheap and spammable. And very PDable.
Yeah, I'll just
Like a
mark it
better
in
version of.
for a tune-up.
Do we want that though?
Well, why not?
Demon Fox.
Well, just a few touches, not nothing to totally change the behavior of the weapon. Gonna try
I mean,
a few things just in local testing, see what I can come up with.
Double the damage and check its pulse.
Yeah, I need to check its pulse to see if there's something not happening that should be happening, such as fuse or arm on hit is currently not completely functional. So if you have arm on hit on and it only detonates when it hits something, it'll only detonate if it's a shield. If it hits the hull, it won't actually proc its fragments, so that might be what's happening here, but I'm not sure if the Hurricane actually has fragments.
Somebody reported that?
I mean, its whole damage is fine. It's just.
Demon Fox, what
it-
exactly
it
is
needs-
bad about the gun?
Yeah.
What exactly is bad about the gun?
Well, it misses often. It does really shit shield damage. It fires not very often, and it has a very PDable shell. But that is, I mean, it's got a very good HP, but it's a very slow shell, so the odds of it missing are quite high. Which is why I wanted to make it like a SAM gun, so it's more like a volume of fire sort of thing.
It's not the most unreasonable thing in the world to increase its rate of fire. Maybe. Yeah. I'll play with
What's
it in a
what's
local
it at
version.
currently?
Like
It's
a body gun.
it's not that fast. Not that quick firing.
Think about one bullet per 5 seconds. It just keeps alternating the barrels.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yonderheim is here to complain about the space Legos not being literal Legos. We're working on it, okay?
SMCE.
Anyway, moving on. No weapon Starcore. So, looking pretty alright for the most part, with some notable outliers on the lasers, but we will be working on a more specialized version for Starcore going forward. So we don't need to worry about stepping on much of anything if we have a Starcore very specific branch, not something that's being cloned from one to the other. Not like changing everything about the guns, just some specific values. Which is going to be most of the laser PD stuff. Slingers have been power crept by salvers and reavers. It's possible, but it could also be related to the targeting on the slingers. Could try playing with a few of the values here and there. Especially with the tigers, there's a few parts of the aiming logic that doesn't quite work. Do any damage at all with them? Might need to check out the Gladius then. Gladius 5 check. Alright, damage. Just see if it's working properly. Derechos. Yeah, I do actually have a plan for how to fix up the derechos a little bit on how they proc their AoE. And probably move the same thing to the slingers as well. Move to a max absorb pooled rather than a tiny radius of a couple thousand damage. It's fine. Well, it's fine, maybe not. We'll see. Anyway. Unusable trash. Yeah. I'm gonna gloss over a lot of this PD stuff as it will be tuned up to spec.
This was my rant post, by the way. I'm sure you already knew that though.
No wonder it looks like a ransom note.
It's kind of well formatted. I can get what's going on here.
Not
That's
a
a
ransom
ransom
note. It's a. I already made
Madman.
it. It's a mad scientist.
Yeah, it's a statement, no longer a threat.
Manifesto.
Offensive labor based AMS would be nice. Yep. If not a T3 based one, we'll try a T3 based one. And might try looking at the T2 gimbal and all that. See how it goes. Yeah, we'll see if we can tune up the lasers a little bit. The problem with making the lasers longer range, as described up here, is that is a performance hit. You are checking the entire length, so having every ship with 20 Gladius that go 5 kilometers is not going to be great for performance. But we can give it a shot. Moving on. Arc's weapons. Punisher looked pretty good from my perspective. How did it feel to use for anybody that did bring them? Too weak?
I'll
Too hard?
I'll speak at once.
I couldn't really tell because I had so many other things firing with it.
Well, it does have a pretty distinct projectile now.
I think that the turret wasn't so pricey. I don't know.
Hmm.
What does it cost? Punisher's rolling
200.
200?
I think
It's
the
well
price
into
point is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does a lot of heavy armor damage, but it does that heavy armor damage spread out quite a lot. So I suppose
What
a
if
point
it was,
reduction wouldn't be the worst, but
what if it was 25, 40 points cheaper?
Like 180.
That's 20, not 25. Come on, man.
I'm trying to reach halfway.
No.
So that would put in the same bracket as the Mark 1 battleship cannon. I'm kind of beside myself on the Punishers. Because if they get too cheap, then, well, en masse, any weapon will do a lot of damage, and the Punisher can certainly do quite a bit. Yeah.
Maybe we could amp up its damage and turn to one of those 300 point guns we were thinking about.
What?
It's an idea.
it's an
300 point
idea for the
shotgun.
Punisher, though.
There you go.
I mean, if we're at a
RBP or
loss for
increased
what to use
damage.
it for.
Okay,
Because
Magnetar.
If we decrease the points of it, it's more of a
Alright.
secondary gun. But,
Yeah.
sorry.
Magnetar.
Now the Punisher.
Sorry, jeez.
Back to what Nate was saying. The Punisher is an auxiliary gun simply because of its range. If you bring it as a main weapon, well, I hope pretty quick. So it might be a better idea to drop points first, but we'll see how the damage looks if I increase it. Magnetar, though, well loved. And I wonder how many people realize that every single one of the Magnetar's projectiles was PDable in the tournament.
I didn't actually notice.
Yeah.
I mean, you announced it and I read it.
Yeah, it was posted. It wasn't hidden by any means, but certainly didn't seem to affect the enjoyment of the weapon at all. Same with the Artemis. Not something you PD, just people enjoy it. Tempest, a lot of people say it's just right. That does not reflect the comments. Focus beam, quite the same. Hunter, pretty much the same. No real changes needed. Doppler, might need a buff. Most balanced pack. Which is ironic considering it's Argent's. Hey, come on. Art Jones means all falling fine under most things. Seems like they'd just be depressing to fight against. I agree. Tempest could use some more shell HP. I agree. If you bind with them in mind, they're just fine. Artists feel amazing to use. Thank you. PDable projectiles issue show up again in this pack with the Tempest. Why would I risk a chance of my damage being nullified on a fixed weapon? I have to put effort into aim, account for lead, just distance, maybe get a gnarly shot in around the shield shot. Ah, nope, it just disappears. Log it Foxy in 12 seconds.
So I don't know if people realize that both the Hunter and the Ares can also be PD'd if you get
The Hunter
lucky.
cannot. It
No,
does
we
not
ended up-
have.
We
It
just
does
talked
not
about
have
it.
health on that.
Nope.
I think it should personally, considering the
No.
Ares has it.
The Ares has it as a main.
It very rarely happens.
Yeah.
There's more
Alright.
happenstance.
Assuming direct control, high lower, and doing the yeah. Okay. That's where Nate schizo posts for another couple of paragraphs. I already read all this before, and let's see. The only change here that was not integrated was the magazine size for the rapid fire was changed to be the size of its burst rather than 999, so it actually reloads. And then draws power
I would-
instead of the power draw that's just constant 50 megawatts, I think.
I
Yeah,
guess that
we
will
got rid of
increase
that.
its DPS because now it'll be 10-second reload. Well, quote unquote reload instead of a 14-second quote unquote reload. But I don't know. Something
I
to
didn't
watch.
change the delay after burst.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it won't
that's still there.
trigger it because there's not another burst.
They would have wanted to trigger it the first time with 999 bullets in the magazine.
No, they're
No,
Yeah,
if,
so what-
if there is an amount that it can go through, yeah.
we'll
That can
see.
be tuned. Yeah, that's fine. Gun is now smoother. That is a good point. Yeah, okay. Pack's fairly
You also
balanced.
remove that, yeah.
tad overpriced. Doppler's OP. Peak balance. All right,
oh
good.
no, Doppler's not OP enough.
Yeah, short blue bar this time.
Yeah.
Serpent Arms. Erebus. Too strong. Too strong in the Erebus.
Where's
Wow.
that coming from?
Well, it's simply too strong. Can't be beat.
Is it Tiger only smart?
No,
No.
That could be where it's coming from. Is it's knocking down a lot more projectiles.
it's not. It doesn't have the
It's
rate of
not,
fire to do
no.
that.
Nope.
Asterius, pretty good. Sylvius, pretty good. Sharon, pretty good. Cerberus, Somnus, pretty good. And the Hydra, a little weaker. Comparison, or too strong, depending on your flavor, I guess.
Did we even see the Hydra?
Last tournament?
Well,
I don't think so.
No, not to my memory.
Yeah.
Hunters.
Watching tuber spam Asterius every time but do no damage is chef's kiss. Can we please give the Hydra some compounded damage love? Imagine if they were capable of hurting things. People might bring them to stand a shadow of a chance against their natural enemy. Drones. Also, did you know they've been missing their heavy armor modifier this whole time? Santa knows. He's been watching you. He'll judge you even when God won't.
all right, turnip.
I believe that's 60.
It could be 60.
It's
yeah.
not turn up now.
No.
Comments I forgot. Apparently Sylvius does coil gun level shield damage, which is news to me and sounds like a fat fucking dose of FUD lore, but let's see those numbers. Well, I don't have a ruler handy for how much shield damage the coil gun does, but I could check.
Enderoth apparently said that was him.
Sylvius versus coil.
Endroth not mentioned the
cannon.
Hydra. Wow. Must be fine.
No, I think that was his post before
No.
that one. Like this, he filled it out twice.
Of course he did.
Damage.
Comments he forgot. Oh my god.
Do Hydrix get fixed yet? Thank you for the feedback. Please give the Asterius an accuracy or projectile speed buff. They're completely useless in their current state, despite being the only gun in their niche. Mid-ranged, kinetic, turreted shield damage.
It is the only bullet hose, and it's kinetic, I guess.
There is
We
intent
almost
behind
killed
that.
the last bullet hose.
I know.
Yeah.
We almost got it. No, I'm kidding.
Fix the Sharon, and the Hydra's just right. Enderoth. Not Enderoth, to be clear.
How many times did...
That one was me, to be fair.
My favorite gun is the one that shoots
Oh,
green projectile
shitpost.
01, but has recently fallen out of favor due to recent buffs to green projectile 02, green projectile 03 as a side grade. Some use it, some don't based on personal preference, but definitely suboptimal. Why does green projectile 4 even exist? No one uses as long as green projectile 02 exists. It does its job way better. Thank you for this post.
They didn't talk about green projectile 05.
Honestly,
There are
yeah.
5 green projectiles, my brother.
Increase Hydra VP by
Yeah.
120 and given to Enderoth's demands. Think of the hostages. This is the only way to defuse the situation. 770 is objectively a cooler number than 650 anyways.
Why only 120 though?
I think they just wanted 770.
Just because of that, I don't want it.
Hmm.
I'd say 771.
777 jackpot.
Maybe
No.
you're onto something. Sylvius is a nice turret, but could use a bit more penetration and heavy armor damage to make its price feel worthwhile. Hey, you remember those posts about wow, heavy armor is useless? Let's add
No.
more armor damage. Let's do that.
No, 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 no.
Asterius is a solid
Mm.
turret, though it's falling behind in the power curve. Given the increased speeds that people are traveling at now, suggest boosting the projectile speed to mitigate this. All other stats feel right. So,
Asterius can't hit fast?
We didn't increase the speed that much.
the perception here
Tips.
is when you have two fast ships traveling at the range of the Asterius maximum range, and one of them changes direction, a bunch of shots will miss because they were traveling the entire time. If you get closer, they'll hit pretty much no matter how fast the target's going. Unless
Tips
they're
do it.
really flipping around.
Or Tumor Buffett. Hey, Tumor was doing fine.
Tibbs, check muzzled waiting room.
I can see. I'm watching you.
Make it so.
No,
All right,
just because
anyway.
you asked.
Monopoles are honestly in a great spot right now. For this size, the amount of damage they do is absolutely justified, and they just got a audio buff. They now have a new windup, and I fixed the part of their projectile effects where it would just cut off after 5 kilometers for some of them. They should now travel the whole distance, more or less. TO Industries. Pretty good. Apes continue to have the stupid amount of power draw for no reason. Just use Painless. Reject the weakness of power dependency. Embrace the certainty of kinetic PD that works. Also, please give us a gimbaled Apes. Who could be behind this post? Apes power draw will
already
always be
Hand her
contentious.
off.
If you make it too cheap, they become the best PD. It's all good in balance. Plenty strong. With their acute cost being power consumption, no need to change that. And let's be honest, you should be treating the Apes as a gimbaled weapon anyway. It turns so slow. It's fine. Tips, I swear to God, it will shit yourself if you keep arbitrarily splitting up the TIO season pass pack. Apes work well and work
Alright.
as intended. They do draw a lot of powder on reload even when not firing. Is that intentional? Well, not from the get-go. The intention was when Burr take power, but something in the brain box that was pretty important broke, and I might need to take another scratch pass of that, see what I can do about it. But
Ooh, of me or the gun?
yeah,
Yeah.
Is the
Nah,
multi-stream to YouTube working?
no.
yeah, I've asked several times to see if you can click the start button, but I think you just got back.
Yes, I did.
You clicked the start
I
button
have to click the start button.
on YouTube. Yeah, I can't touch that page. It tells me to fuck off.
Jesus Christ.
All right, everybody, restart from the top.
Yeah.
No. Also, to the anonymous commenter, bite me.
I-
It still says it on the sheet.
Give me access back to the sheet. I'll fix it.
No.
I'll fix the sheet.
Tips.
Fix point
Please.
sheet. For
Reducing
TIO.
another category as well.
Okay.
So we're removing all acknowledgement to Killer Bee. I see.
Well,
What?
no,
Oh.
we're just fixing up the sheet so that it's actually together, because this shit down here, this is part of the same pack as the Reavers are in.
Right, but it came from TIO, which is Killer Bee. If we remove that, there's no mention of his stuff at all.
No,
on
we
the
merged the
sheet.
rest
TIO
of it into
season
that.
pass.
Yeah. Everything else goes into that pack. So all of
I'll
this
fix
right here.
the sheet.
The good mods.
Yeah, by
which-
bad mod, all of these are from the same pack tips. So all of these go into the TIO.
So okay, so it's all TIO, not
Yeah.
good mods.
All right, fine, sure. If
correct.
that makes it happen, go ahead.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
okay.
Whatever does it for you.
Anyway,
The stream's audio was just set to unlisted, but it's on now. It's been recording. It'll post as public when the stream ends.
oh, okay. Just keep it unlisted for now, I guess. Anyway, PPC, we'll get back to those. Okay, monopole, 6 for 2 strong, 11 for just right. A little contentious there, but at least it's not too weak, I guess. SRMs, MRMs, and no, that's it actually. I have a plan for missiles here, so everybody really likes the MCRNs and UNNs for their anti-shield long range, can reload a few times, not so punishing if you fuck up a launch. Been thinking about the SRMs and MRMs, and one of my ideas was to actually add reloads onto several missile systems here, maybe not for the LRMs, but you know, for MRMs, SRMs just give you like a 30-second or minute-long reload, or you know, whatever value's correct. Give you a couple chances with the same launcher. Might work. Arrow, 6 for 2 weak, 14 for just right, nobody for 2 strong. Same with the medium large, almost the painless, 2 for 2 strong on the painless. Much the same for the rest of it. RDVR, lots of people like that. I think that was a solid addition of a box that screams at you if it sees something. And for the PPCs, these are a problem right now. One of which being you can hit yourself with the E-War. I'm not sure if I can even fix that really. And the E-War that does actually get done is unreliable. Unless I use effect, and if you hit somebody with 5 PPCs and they're all in effect, you can just shut off every gun on the grid. So it needs to be on field, so it actually shuts off stuff around the thing, but the PPC and the ER PPC might just need to get slid into the early retirement bin until we can fix that up. Ivor is, as ever, really fun to deal with. So lots of meme monopole spam. Was there only like 3 ships that had monopoles?
Yeah.
Monopoles won the tournament. What do you mean?
Excluding Anomalous drones.
Hey, I didn't even play.
That was
Phoenix drones.
Janix.
JNX drones.
Well,
I just
no.
connected the two in my head. The drones with the monopoles on them.
So at least
Yeah.
4 then.
Yeah, 4. We'll say 4 on that team. So yeah, like 4 ships brought monopoles total. So I'm not sure if that's lots of meme monopole spam.
Hmm.
Make the large laser 10 kilometers. Continuous beam that fires for 10 seconds, cooldowns for 5, and then has 3 tiers of fall off and costs 1,000. Also play both for the RTPR.
Huh?
Sure. PPCs are next to useless. I agree, because I can't do anything with them that would be meaningful. Monopole, on the other hand, is way overcooked with the many buff they got overall 15-kilometer range, fast overheat cooldown, dispersion improvements, and next to no power draw. Actually, no power draw. What is basically a rotary Mark II coil cannon. You'll note there.
Okay.
How long is the monopole? Anyone remember that?
Fucking huge.
Yeah, approximately
long.
fucking huge amount blocks long.
I think it's like 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, Preston. I'm kidding.
Anyway, the if it were not 45 blocks long, this I would totally agree with. However, it
Mhm.
is longer than a lot of ships. Monopole
That's
OP
being
Manifesto. I think not many people really got the full monopole experience TM because people would mount them in pairs with 15 block gap, but watching Darth just go apeshit on anything that existed near him was pretty entertaining. Do you think they're a bit goofy as the highly incentivized bring just another 3 monopoles rather than taking 1 and 3000 BP of another gun? I think we should lower their shield damage dramatically and leave their armor damage unchanged, making it a big dick tank killer that needs to be supported by shield stripping guns and not 3 other monopoles.
That's constructive.
It is constructive. And I'm going to need to construct a response. Kind of sad that drones got yeeted. They haven't yet, because Tartarus with a good enough counter, I saw fucking 4 of them slam into one drone and do nothing. Personally feel like putting a single unit in alongside would have made them a non-factor, because we won't be seeing that. Well, we won't be seeing those kinds of drones again. The skirting the around of the arena and sniping at 10 kilometers.
I think it was 7.
It could have been 4 kilometers for all it mattered. They were far enough away and going fast enough that nothing could hit them.
I won't dispute that, yeah.
LRMs are probably too cheap now for how good they are. That's a thought. Medium range missiles feel like they still don't have a place since the others do what you'd want them to do, but better. We'll see if the some reloads can clean that up a bit. Maybe some added shield damage, who knows? Every PPC, yep. SRM still feel underwhelming for their point cost. So remember a couple tournaments back, almost every comment on the SRM was, wow, this missile killed me instantly and I didn't see it and I died very quickly. Please nerf it. And we're back at here again.
They're fine where they are, at the bottom of the dumpster.
Well, we'll see how reloads do. Where? I'm not even sure what they're complaining about in this case, but regardless, P-Bill stuff is fine. Where?
What is this?
Where?
Crying,
Right.
whining.
Side
Wah.
comment? I don't know.
I don't know.
Repost, yeah. Grid limit MMC
No,
to
I'd
1.
no.
If I bring 1, I am a meme chip and should bring 4 to curb stomp whatever I click on, then die shortly after. Good gameplay. Still better than the old SRM spam at least. What a constructive comment. Day 146 of waiting for UNNs to shift from 150 to 125 points. The rest of you may have forgotten, but I have access to the Google Wayback Machine and can scroll upwards in Discord. Okay.
That wouldn't be against that.
Done. RWRs need a 40% climbing cost so they can remain cheap, and we don't see people replacing all of their 5.0 7k integrity, plus 0 resistance, offense decoys with 5.33,000 integrity, plus 300% resistance RWRs, which are an offensive subsystem. Otherwise, RWRs are fucking perfect, and goddamn, they save my ass more than once. Okay, let's pull the brakes here. Instead of touching anything about the RWRs, how about we just make decoy stronger?
That will
Stronger
work.
how?
Resistance.
Resistance.
4 points.
Or make them cheaper. Try with resistance and see how that goes.
What
Bump.
if you just made them count as every kind of utility weapons and
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, they do. If you haven't tried out decoys yet, they were changed some months ago. I have no idea.
Yeah, decoys are pretty good. Bump, medium and large laser ranges by a bit to encourage more CTC use.
Lamau.
No.
Lol.
Missiles are being balanced actively and getting better, so no comments on them. Sounds good. PBR, yeah, I agree. I agree. Starcore experimental. Blink drive and arc emitters. So blink drives, still a little bit contentious as always, but you get one of them. They seem to do just fine last tournament. Arc emitters, also somewhat contentious between too strong and just right. Lots of praise in here. Arcs might be becoming a tad mandatory as a counter to other arcs. Well,
Did the team that win have any arcs?
no. That's not really a useful measure to go by. Better question is,
Bro.
if they had a little bit of damage fall off at the maximum extent of their range, so you were forced to move in closer rather than sticking as far away as you could possibly be, that might be a bit better.
I think they already do.
That might have been something JNIC already implemented. I can't remember.
If I'm right, from 700 to 900, they do like 50% less damage. They would have to ask Nick specifically, who is just staring maliciously.
Pretty good. Reduce arc emitter range by just 100 meters to see how it feels. Don't laugh it off this time, but try it.
Why?
Yeah, I didn't laugh. Jasm's are great.
already
They do a
pretty
ton of
good.
damage, but are balanced by their power draw and range. What do you think, Darth?
I like the idea. Just tapping down the arc emitters just a little bit, make them that slightly shorter range. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference, but what it does, I think will be good.
Black switch block.
Yeah. Like switch block is definitely worth the point investment. If I'm lucky, I can get a guy on the enemy team to crash by QPU manipulating myself into the nearest rock. It's like I'm playing Cyberpunk as a team's decker, and I can detonate some dude's pacemaker through a security camera.
Amazing.
Outstanding.
Yeah. The tendency of the blink drives to get a little fast and loose with checking to see if the space they're jumping into is occupied or not might be something I need to talk to the mod author about.
Mm.
Starcore heavy assault. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Vulcan, pretty good. Flares. Wow. Pretty singular on that one. Tartarus, a little bit more contentious. Some too weak, some too strong. Cocytus, way more for 2 weak. This did get a AMS HP buff from whatever it was to 400 or 800 or some
800.
ridiculous 800.
Also a reload.
Also
you get
one
4
reload.
missiles.
Yep.
Nice.
Gonna see if the MCRN strategy works when spread out across more missiles. Takedown also pretty good. Players are fine. Once again, asking for a healthier cock HP level. Granted. Takedown is a shotgun, and shotguns need help. Won't you just give just 25 cents per day to see shotguns from around the world get the love and attention they deserve? You have my PayPal link. Good guns. Vulcan seems kind of strong, even when compared to the other limited ammo weapons like missiles. My main gripe with is how long the ammo actually lasts, and how much of an impact it has on the match. So the rate of fire was reduced, and the amount of time that you get with the gun was increased because you're firing the same amount of total ammo, just slower.
Mm.
So, yeah, not too
Also, I
sure
like it
about this.
how it is.
It is fine.
Uh,
Admittedly, it has become more of an anti-shield weapon than an anti-hull weapon.
I don't
Operator error.
necessarily agree with that. I mean, I feel like it still tears through hull just fine.
Oh, it does. It's just much more practical to fire it straight off the bat rather than waiting
Oh.
for it to go down.
Sure, yeah.
gun do
Yeah,
damage when you hit somebody. Terrible. Reducing its shield damage further might also be an option, so you need to hold off on using it until you broke shields.
That's not my comment, by the way.
Wonder what they meant by this.
Clearly not.
I actually love the Vulcan where it is. I use it all the time.
Yeah,
same.
I'm not too much of a hurry to change the Vulcan because it seems to be working just fine. I think Tartarus might be too perfect of a missile. They're good versus PD, and due to the stream
That's fine.
they fire, they're also effective versus flares. Cox, on the other hand, don't seem to have any of that. Perhaps to make up for the weakness of the Cox being very weak to flares, give them really good HP versus AMS. Done. Vulcan is a weird one, definitely the greatest weapon to kill a ship, but not really as powerful as everyone thinks outside of shield busting. Due to the way mobility works, you basically end up spraying damage all over the place like a golden shower from a novice. Good pack. Do the way mobility works,
Well, everyone's jiggling around each other.
I guess. Or if you're having problems aiming because of your thrusters, just consider
Nope.
using fuck off, I guess.
I just lack skills.
Yeah, fair enough. Rename cock to Crocs. Key Thanatos increase gimbal is nice. Up Thanatos AR range by 500 meters. That is,
Oddly specific.
yeah. I don't think it's a terrible plan. It's just 500 meters is strange. That's all good. Now, suggestion: add 2 more Coctus missiles with a minute fire delay between them. Done. Past councils have done a good job listing, and this pack is fairly well balanced. In my opinion, Vulcans are fine. Don't listen to the hater. You've been doing good at listening to my opinions. My opinions, the greatest.
Yep.
Vulcans are fine. The dispersion is quite a bit, so that balances out most of the arguments people have against it, which was rate of fire, or the amount of time you could fire? Maybe. Vulcans are fine. Recoil stops them from being the precision drill they used to be. Thanatos could really benefit from a range buff for more shield damage. Well, I'll try 500 meters, I guess. Up Tartarus BP from 350 to 400. I'm not sure if I want to fuck with Tartarus at all.
I don't think we need to.
No.
Yeah, they're pretty good word they're at.
I mean, is there a problem with the weapon being good?
No, I don't think so.
Mileage may vary.
Maybe like a couple more points. I don't
Just up
Mm,
I'll put it this way: is there any negative to bringing a Tartarus?
At a single point.
Could there be?
Yeah,
I have
350
Is there a
meters.
negative to bringing a monopole? Is there a negative to bringing a Vulcan?
Is there a negative to bringing guns?
Yes, you have to
Whoa.
play Space
Depends on the
Engineers.
gun to bring, yeah.
You'll have less shields.
Gross.
Just bring missiles.
I mean, I think Tartarus is more or less fun. It's
You cannot commit shield
like
jitsu
the
if
kind of
your
minute
shields
changes
are
you
already
make to
down.
it.
Anyway. Invalid stuff. Clan LVX is getting swapped out for something new in a sec. Metal Storm, still doing its best. As is some of the other stuff here. Still tuning things in and making stuff work out. Sun Launcher did get a buff.
They won't love the middle storm. They're missing out.
What have you done?
Destroys
to
your
it?
audio driver.
I want his 50
Destroys your spirits of the person who uses it.
Oh yeah, look at that. Death pack's just right. Nice.
Yeah.
mm.
SIBs? What's up with that?
Where?
What about them?
Oh, never mind. That's another sun launcher.
Oh, you flip the word, I guess.
If you have any comments on this specific weapon pack, shotguns need a philosophical overhaul. Yep.
Do they?
I mean, we already have a new model for it and a new design plan to do the LBX 5 from Mech Warrior Online. Didn't we get hangers so we wouldn't need grid drones? Yes. Like, wasn't the express purpose of them that grid drones were banned? So these would be what we would use to avoid cringe? Yes.
Yes.
Just double checking because I feel that that was said. Now, the neat part about the weapon core drones is my favorite part about getting shot is not being able to see what's shooting me or see where the drones is at
I
all.
feel like this could be sarcasm.
No,
Might
no,
be
I would never be sarcastic about something as devastating as not seeing something that's shooting you, ever.
I've never known you to be sarcastic at all. Really, just can't
Wow.
think of
Yeah,
time
no,
it's ever
that'd
happened.
be over the line. Anyway, longswords being good implemented would be legit. Still working on it. Have you seen that thing warp in? Have you felt the hype? Yep. Looking forward to it. It might actually work better than the other drone since it's just a single one. Be really honest, I think everyone should test these guns a bit more, as I feel like it'd be an ocean of not sure which aren't ideal to balance against. Well, of course. This is pretty experimental stuff.
Mm.
Were made in part to replace player drones, but those very drones, they're impossibly hard to balance between being useless or overpowered. Funny about that. Currently the former, they just don't do the damage required with the points investment and size and run out of ammo far too quickly because of the base. Which is true. In some cases, it's pretty hard to make the drones play ball.
MCE's Strikecraft hurt me badly.
It was really funny to watch.
Yeah, they're no joke.
Yeah.
Actually worked.
Banshees are either really strong or worthless depending on if the ship they're shooting at has PD that is not apes.
I mean, if they have apes, the apes can't track them. They go around too fast.
Aircraft are bad against anti-air.
It's space though.
It's true. Now, the
Have
problem
more
with
apes and almost ripped apart.
the current design of the drones is they're pretty much just a shorter range version of the other problematic drones of orbiting you and plinking at you with your ability to do anything about it being roll,
Nothing.
have effective PD, go to an asteroid and hope they run into it.
Yeah. Have made good decisions yesterday.
Yeah, it's you can't really effectively in the moment counter them with anything but dedicated hardware. So that's my current gripe with them. As for the LBX, it is being worked on. The utilities seem fun. Testing sun launcher is really useless for anything. It did get a buff for the tug, and we'll see how that goes. Focus on one capability. Is this a turret placing gun for flanking damage? Is this a cap down mine layer? Something for keeping people away from you? I don't know, just some ramblings. I believe the original design goal was it's a sun that comes out of the barrel and they'll figure it out later. Spots this pack will forever be completely unusable unless I am able to delete a ship through the PD.
Well.
Alright.
Tough.
I like the
But
clan
not
LBX
wrong.
sound and fire rate. Rename it to the clan LBX5. Funny about that. Move its damage to free projectiles. And reduce its costs. Yep, we're on it. Truly the oak milk of the cheese world.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man.
What?
Alright, I'm going to step
Hey.
in and say oat milk's actually pretty good. It's almond milk that sucks ass.
But who wrote that?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Who would go in and write?
Drink
I-
water or go home.
I don't know. Afterburners and SRB in a good spot. Hangers getting tuned up better than before, but do need a bit more damage to make them fully competitive. In the sense of being able to just delete a team.
Chocolate almond milk is better than chocolate oat milk.
Yeah, I won't deny that. Special questions and wrap up. The bounds of the current Starcore tournament, what ideas would you suggest we consider? Maybe a few less unilateral decisions.
Well.
3 horizontal caps, a very nice layout. To the vertical orientation provides a more interesting thing to look at across the views. It was nice seeing the cap ships still being viable. Speed boost for heavier grids is nice and lets them get into the fight instead of just sitting still. Good stuff. Consider adding rods to the cap zone. I like it. I don't have the control I would prefer to have. The current layout of asteroids was completely accidental. Tiered thrusters, not the tiered thrusters everybody might be familiar with. The ones that I looked into on the workshop were actually pretty neat, where they only fit over the thrusters as like an upgrade module in the gyros, like the large gyros. You fit it over and there you go, you get the bonus thrust out of it. Downside is, then we need to, well, add another block that is unique to Starcore. So it's kind of up in the air on that. It's a totally configurable, and it looks just fine. So, I don't know. I might need to put that on Combat 4 and fuck with it.
It is now the testing zone for Ground and Find Out mods.
Pretty much. 8v8 match if we had the players. Heavy laser turret. Yeah. So, I was thinking about doing the twinned tournament for the next one, actually.
But back, thanks to Nate for finding that crash. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that
You're welcome.
that crash was absurd.
That was
Now,
the second most anomalous thing.
What was the first?
The Gladius's beam drawing into a negative and breaking the
Oh, yeah.
universe or something.
Creating infinitely tiny points in space that eventually kill everything. I should have a chat bot fill this out for me. Don't know how to do that though. Well, don't worry. You fooled me. Slightly diagonal zone placement to make one zone slightly closer to a certain team in order to make the area layout considered into each team's strategies. The fuck? I'm getting a phone. Who calls anybody at fucking 7 o'clock?
Well, who is it?
So 7
Public
o'clock
Safety and Emergency Services wants to chat with. No, go away. I'm having it on here.
What?
appointment. The random one.
Anyway.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, the government?
So, diagonal zone placement, I can do that pretty easily. I don't think there's any point of contention on that. I believe, yeah, I actually did that for the vertical setup as well. That should be fine. I'll just write that down to remember it. So it's going to be diagonal zone placement. More thruster variants. That's the upgradable thrusters, especially slopes that don't have things poking out, like modular thrusters. Don't know about that one. Laser variant to the Vulcan with mutually exclusive block limiting. Is that possible? It is not very easily, but everything's technically possible. Increase speed cap to 550 with a nice soft touch. Scale everyone from 10 million and less on that so that the difference between 10 million and 35 million mass isn't a paltry 45 meters per second. Watching brawlers get bullied by Spartan was a thing. So something I noted about what Spartan was fighting up against was he would go out somewhere and then the enemy team would come to him and get the shit fucked out of him or manage to do stuff against Spartan. Like, he wasn't really running people down.
It was a
sure.
combination of what he used to do with his 3 blink drives as well as just kiting as people should.
I don't know about kiting, he's just kind of rotating. Might be remembering that wrong though. Dabble at the idea of tiered reactors. Hear me out. Alright. As long as the tiered reactors scale 1-1 in BP cost, the normal reactors, the only benefit is that you get to build more compact, with the drawback being, as you guys from Nexus well know, that you now have fewer subsystems for the enemy to target. They seem inherently self-balancing. Scaled for tier tech would be, whatever. No.
Yeah, no.
Part of the trade-off here is that you can fit a lot more power into a lot of a smaller space, and everybody knows about shield fit. Everybody puts all that Greeble shit on to eke that extra 500,000 shields out of your ship that will get instantly lost, but don't worry about it. But making a smaller ship and having the same amount of power on it means you get massively more shields. I'm not sure if I'm into that, Chief. Big team battles, 8v8, or even 10v10s. Yep, I am intending on setting that up for the next tournament. At least for the first rounds. Maybe not the whole tournament. We'll see. PD still seems to be strong against the turrets and weak to missiles, even with the HP buffs. The PvD configurations can make multiple thousands of BP in turrets irrelevant. Can only barely kill a Tartarus seems wrong. To me, to be honest. Well, if they could make thousands of BP in turrets irrelevant, that would. Yeah, I'd agree. But I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be at all the case.
I guess we'll test it. Here with the new drone ruling, well, I'm sad we won't see any multiple drones future. Hang on now. We'll talk about that in a sec. Drones like hangar bangs, way going forward. Team can actually bounce them to be a fun experience. Yeah, about that. We are constantly fighting with random errors and glitches and bugs. Those who has tested the hangars and you fire them too close to a target will report that the drone just slams into the target without doing anything. And
Yeah,
that goes all the way down.
The guy makes the BSG pack also reported that. He just brushed it off as 1/16 chance of a suicidal pilot.
Incredible.
No, but he recommended I give a minimum range of like 500 meters, and I did that. So, see if it still happens.
Yeah. There's no denying that the single limbs is much more reasonable pace with us Euros not having to stay up past 3 a.m., but double limbs are much more fun as our middle ground. Somewhat. Like that team up suggestion a while back. Oh, yeah. We're on the same page, buddy. Just because I edited my response, PD shells are fine. If the turnies or anything go by, ships brought plenty of PB turrets and did hecka good damage. They were not nullified by any stretch of the imagination. So this is the version of events that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess you wrote that one.
4 to 6 hours for a test tournament is unspeakable pain in the ass for literally everyone.
Suffer not the Euro to live.
Although I tilted due to screwing up my match, I would still be satisfying if we did single elimination from now on just for the time savings. Waiting 2 weeks isn't that bad. Hot take, maybe?
Why do I feel like this is Preston's?
No,
Why do
no.
I feel like you
Let's
can...
not assign any names or blame here. This is an open feedback form.
I don't dislike single limbs though. It is nice that it's fast.
It's a nice change of pace than the back-to-back hooked on a match very quickly for people.
Yeah, we'll just try it with
Yeah.
the bigger teams for the elimination round. See how that goes.
Get to play Space Engineers less.
Exactly.
And
the double elimination
I'm
paired by
going
seeding.
I'm gonna reach into the way back machine and go, oh wait, how many people bitched about not getting to play enough because we were doing single limb?
Well, no,
We
that's slightly
started
different.
doing double elimination. Everyone's like, hey, I get to play more. Oh, I'm playing too much. Now I'm not playing enough.
Which is why they were asking for a bit of a middle ground here. And I think we
Yeah.
can reach it.
It could also be a bit of a case of running two streams side by side. People don't know which side to watch as well.
And to be fair, the streams at that point are more like VODs to come back to,
Yeah.
which I do appreciate because I like watching them.
I know.
You'll
and
never
Ralph.
fix drone scripts. There's a rule against fixed weapon aimbot, so you can balance them without assuming 100% hit rate. Do as you did with the PMWs. We'll get back to that. If you hit double elimination, pair by seating, yep. We're on the same page. Already talked about drones all week, and their comparisons to aimbox strips, etc. Let's talk about the monopole instead. It is, in fact, balanced. Functioning similar to a Vulcan. Oh, that's the design goal. It's a powerful weapon with the downside that may stop it from firing. Is it, however, balanced in a way that corresponds to our desired time to kill? Decrease in damage or increase in HP might put it more in line.
It already takes 4 Ares shots to kill.
Longer reload between bursts might make it even easier to use. You have to be careful giving a gun too much HP, so perhaps we try giving a very long functionality life, but completely crater its repair speed. Therefore, front-loading all of its HP buffs while not repeating Mac mistakes. All that said, I'll repeat that I believe that even in their current configuration of HP and damage, they are balanced if a little on the powerful side. I'm alright with them being a little bit on the powerful side. They're 45 blocks long. Great job as always. Thank you. Still looking forward to the possibilities of side deck fleets and ECM blocks. We'll get back to that. Not the ECM blocks, should the ideas move forward, but side deck fleets, talk about that in a sec. And thank you for participating. If you have any further remarks for the team, please feel free to convey them to us here. Maybe not a pure ban on grid drones, but have someone on the team vibe check them in advance. Also ban fixed guns on drones and not turrets would avoid some of the cringe issues. This is one option. This is Tate's opinion. Validate or validate as chosen. You're British. Didn't listen. Overall things were well. Some guns got spammed. Pretty good. Multiple POVs. More streamlined. Yeah, I agree. You guys were due for a fuck up. Drones were a good way to make sure you threw off the will of the universe from making something else fuck up. Otherwise, good stuff. Was fun to watch. Love Hydras. Starcore is great. Thanks for all involved. Thank you. 300 battle point programming blocks. Now your hit scan sniper is less BP efficient, nerds.
Yeah.
I take it back. Give drones just because I found out I can use them too and make myself heavy to avoid dying. The first match was not really fair when no restart was offered, when one team was reporting issues. All right, let's talk about this one.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's Preston seating, isn't it?
now,
Yep.
globally speaking, if you believe you need a restart, typing into the chat once we had a disconnect does not tell us anything. If you want to restart, you spam into chat, you hop into the channel, you at me, you just go ape shit to get my attention. And then we can restart. So do that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
In light of our current balance, we should all complain about drones. However, I'm going to go on a limb and say that I didn't hate fighting drones as much as I did back in DT2, mostly because the Artemis don't have shield pen. I think us losing to Hack was because we left Spartan alone to reconnect rather than sit on the AKFK Shtarby to finish it off. Maybe. Maybe not.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah. But it was pretty neat to see you let him reconnect. On the topic, I think part of the problem also lies in the fact people didn't bring loaded counter drones or anything equally fast. And not to sound like a defender of anything, but taking Bryce or Tumor, a literal stack of thrusters and tanks, as the standard of how fast drones will kill you is a bit misguided. That's not the point. Single salvo from Spartan's 6 guns would have done the same both of them if he could hit them. But cutting fast mover cringe aside, Demon Fox has a good point that it forces a standardized loadout if you want to even do anything about it. That in my eyes is the main issue. I agree.
Hey.
Anyway, this TT has
Respect.
made me appreciate the double limb format, and yet it was still fun, so hopefully y'all don't take the drone rate too hard to heart, because the rest was pretty legit. Nope, we solve problems, we don't concern ourselves with blame. Ideally, anyway. Give a proper discussion about the drones, yep. Pretty much the same comment worded differently. Yep, we'll come back to that. Keep up the good work. Y'all handsome and charming, thank you. Nice TT. Performance was clean as a whistle and I had fun despite losing. That's great to hear. Yeah, I saw a performance dip in some weird spots, but I believe that was the Peacemaker issue that was resolved. Everything was fine. Drones were painful, but besides the drone deals, turning was good, and I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you. Here we go. Muzzled's voice and commentary is great until his meds kick in, and he just wants to end the stream as quickly as possible. Tiberius sounds like he has a stick up his ass, and he's going to shoot someone through his monitor every time he sees a stupid message in chat. Actually really funny. Invalid sounds like Tiberius, but wants to shoot himself instead of someone else every time he looks at the chat. Tate has commentary.
I don't know what
Best-
that means.
Just
Best
once.
comment.
Just fucking
Jesus
once.
Christ.
Can you guys spell my name right? Damn.
Nah.
Never.
In light of the current balance, Enderoth is a bitch-ass motherfucker. He clicked on my fucking wife. He stole my crops and clicked on my fucking wife. That's right. He took his egg-shaped little gamer mouse out and he clicked on my fucking wife, and then he said his DPI was this big. And I said, that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post on my twitter.com. Enderoth, you got a small little trackball mouse, got a small grid as size of Spartan's Focus Beams drones, except it's way smaller. And guess what? Here's what my grid looks like. That's right, baby. All heavy armor. No egg, no fixed guns. Look at that, looks like a gun pyramid in Talos Super Ball tank. He clicked on my wife, so guess what? I'm gonna click towards the objective. That's right, this is what you get. My super heavy ship. Except I'm not gonna make it into the objective. I'm gonna go higher. I'm blinking into the moon! How do you like that, Obama? I blinked to the moon, you idiot! Now you have 23 hours before the sim speed droplets recover back to 1.0. Now get in my fucking sight before I remember how to W. Oh.
Wow.
I have
Somebody clip that.
Somebody clip it, please.
I like how they said Enderoth had a small trackball.
It's the size of Spartan's Focus Beams rounds, except it's way smaller. Very good derivation.
On a gun.
I'm just gonna bulldoze straight past that one. Don't worry about it. Single limo is a fun idea, even if I wanted to fight some more still. And some ideas about drones.
Wow.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Like the current balance, Enderoth needs a buff. Guys depressed and stricken with his spare from the balance walls closing in on him. So the guy a little bone to lift his spirits. Then nerf him to the ground again. That's the plan. Okay.
Enderoth wasn't even in the tournament though.
All Enderoth wants is for the Hydras not to suck anymore.
Or Androth, on the other hand.
Says it right there. He old.
There you go, buddy. 25% Hydra comp damage just for you.
Really?
Oh boy.
Also,
Right.
I did mention it a while back. The Hydra is supposed to have a 2x heavy armor modifier, which isn't there at the moment.
Uh-huh.
What if instead of restoring the heavy armor modifier, we
Hey,
gave it to the
It's
opponent?
something. You get something, Enderoth. Don't be
Double the
stingy.
opponent damage.
Uh,
We'll look at the heavier armor
Okay.
modifiers as well. Okay.
somewhere. What if
There you go.
shotguns didn't do impressive armor damage but good component damage? I don't know.
No, we're not buffing the Hydra size.
So
What?
I'm gonna stand up
Yep.
and get a little bit of
Okay.
a sippy because my throat was annihilated by Enderoth's bitch ass. And this tiny trackball.
I
When I
already-
come back, we're gonna have a lovely conversation about drones.
Yep.
So
Oh boy.
don't touch that dial.
No unilateral decisions.
Oh, hush you.
I'll get off mute for this one.
When he comes back from his drink.
Strong drink.
Drones are
He
perfect.
clicked on my wife.
Except it's way smaller. Uh,
I do appreciate whoever commented about me. That was funny.
The comment on my commentary is something.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
such
you
a
have
British
a
joke.
commentary. Apparently, which is
commentary.
better than nothing.
Americans love British jokes.
What does it mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't fucking know.
Don't fucking look at me, dude. I don't know.
You commentate.
Good job.
You say the duck is duckish.
All right, so what if we got the 9x9 guns and put them into the mod pack
What?
as in a joke? Okay.
What?
I don't know.
Come
You know,
back forward with this.
Those
We
big
can throw more
9x9
stuff
ones
to
I
catch.
have.
What?
Literally. My guns
The
are
ball
fucking
one
ball.
looks really
The
bad,
ball
Nate.
one?
I'm sorry.
It does? Oh.
No.
It's just a flat texture. It looks really bad. The other one's fine. It looks cool. The big tube
It's been
on
out.
Yeah, the big kinetic
tu-
artillery
box
thing.
of tubes.
Yeah.
Like the monopole.
One of Krieg's best works.
The fact that I
You
think
put a
was
box
the-
and you put tubes in it.
I think the monopole was really just a Krieg ship post, and it's just made its way.
They're
into
surface
Starcore now.
mounts and rough. Trash next. I guess because the barrel is so high up, you could bury it a little bit.
Well, hello there, Mr. Latecomer.
No, that's me.
Auto.
I'm just popping back in.
Oh, okay.
No,
No.
okay. That's such a disappointment.
Oh,
Hmm.
God, I'm sorry.
I am
I'll leave it.
curious who wrote this one.
You would be.
Of course I would be.
Unfortunately, you don't have the power to check.
They didn't leave their name. They were truly anonymous.
Wait, anonymous. Anomaly.
No, mine
No.
was
We
the
got him.
drone mantra belowhand. The one of the 2 tiers that was my idea, but
No.
I
Yeah.
know it's gonna be.
It was cute.
Yeah.
You're adorable.
Just. Well,
Anybody
rest in
posted
peace,
in media
my
the
unguided buddies.
clip?
That's right.
Or did everybody say clip it and nobody clipped it?
What?
What?
Fuck, I'll go back and grab it.
What?
What?
I'm waiting for the VOD.
What?
What?
For the
Sorry.
fucll muzzle saying Indroth is a bitch ass motherfucker with a full
I'm gonna grab it.
Clicked on my fucking wife.
To the moon. Oh man, that was classic.
Hey guys, did I miss anything?
Yes.
You missed what?
Literally everything.
Muzzle will be back soon.
He's grabbing some water.
And then the fun begins. Mm.
Well, looks like we're all the way at the end of it, so I'm just in time.
Yeah, well, we're about to have the best discussion ever.
Oh.
We're gonna talk about the drone.
Okay, we're back.
All right.
So,
Before we start talking about drones,
yeah, what's up?
because I know that that's going to be a whole thing, and I
Uh-huh.
need to get going. You said to wait till Wednesday to bring up if people are interested in having the Nova Cannon in the Starcore pack.
Yes, the Nova Cannon from the 40K exhibition. It is
Yeah.
completely functional and could use a bit of tuning up here and there, but could put it in if it's wanted.
E. Why not?
Well, You got one Yi.
I mean, big gun goes burr.
I don't have a problem with it. Seems fine.
There's probably reasons why not.
There's probably a few
Probably.
reasons why not. I'm thinking making it relatively cheap because it has that long reload, or shortening the reload and making it.
It's a whole separate mod, I guess.
Yeah, it's its
Whole
own mod.
mod for one gun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We could roll that
think shove it
into
in.
Nate's pack actually, and
Repo?
just
Oh, no,
have you
not-
push to that. So we don't need
Sure.
to worry about doing another mod pack, and just slots right in. And you
Well,
can
with
use all of
GitHub,
his
that'll make it really easy.
particles and all that. And sounds. Yeah, I think that's a decent idea. We'll give it a shot. Okay.
Cool.
And
Have a good night, guys.
So
Alright.
let it be written.
see you around.
So let it be done.
Okay, so I'm going to outline the problems with drones. I'm going to outline some of my solutions for drones, and then we're going to talk about it. So, problem number one, aimbot. You have a long range, very fast projectile. It doesn't really matter what the opponent does. If they're caught out in the open, they're just going to get hit regardless. And that's not great. If they're orbiting your own ship, as is the case with the Rocketman from Janik, that's a little different, but it's still aimbots floating around you. Now, one of the possible solutions to that is to ban fixed weapons outright on drones, or having a blacklist for the weapons that drones can and can't use. This would be, well, all the hit scan, long range stuff. And introducing a mass minimum. So your drones need to be this tall to ride. And it could be one or the other. Blacklist, mass minimum, or otherwise. Or having them use turrets only and somehow incentivizing them otherwise. But drones are not the easiest thing in the world to use. They're never going to be something that everybody should be using, because they do require some debugging and knowledge of how they work. So making them super optimal, making them part of the meta, forcing people to use them, not the greatest idea. I don't want to ban them outright. And there has been some discussion about banning them outright for sure. I do think they're an interesting engineering idea, and banning fixed weapons outright on them would make it so they couldn't use healing projectiles on your own grid, for example. So, if they are the Rocketman script, and they're not using hit scan weapons, does that resolve all the problems? Or does not? Let's hear your take, Spartan, first.
Okay.
If you need time, we can let 60 speak.
No. I mean, I'll give you some of my thoughts, but I also want to hear other people. So I'm going to defy the trend, and I'm not going to unilaterally defend drones as they are, because I do agree it's a little problematic.
Spit it out, Spartan, please.
Yep. You don't need to justify
Yeah,
yourself. Just say your piece.
Okay. Yeah, I think the fixed weapon ban would probably be what's the word? It would probably be the right call for drones versus the minimum weight, because once you start adding weight to drones, they're not that smart. Like they either, like Rocketman, either they follow you and that's it, or the other or Chartreuse, that they go in circles. Like once you start adding weight, they don't really have, like, their small size is the only reason they survive. Even with, like, 5 million shields, that's 5 million unmodified shunted shields on mine. That doesn't last too long. So if you have a drone that just sits still, it's just a BP pinata, as we saw before with the monopole drones. So I think more removing the problematic weapons than limiting the drone design itself is probably a more optimal route, or easier at least.
So in that case, whitelisting what kind of drone scripts you can use, and right now that includes Rocketman and nothing else. And
I don't know. I think there's a defense in Chartreuse, because, like, I mean, like I said, the drones are only, in my opinion, they're only viable because they can fly around and not get hit. If you have something like Rocketman, and the drones just stay like towards like a center ship but don't really actively dodge, like it's going to be a case with the monopole drones where they just get outright like destroyed in short order.
If they can be hit, they are not worth using in any capacity.
Not any capacity, but there should be at least like, you can still hit. I lost half my drones in the KST fight, and they didn't even have like a dedicated like anti-drone loadout. Like they killed half of them with Tartarus.
Specific examples aside, on the point of drones are totally non-viable unless they can't be hit, I raise 13 Hammers of Forgiveness. Drones specifically designed to shield tank and get right up and close to the enemy, 4 kilometers, 3 kilometers in there, and circle them with 13 drones that are firing on them with turrets.
Yeah, but
That
how many
worked.
times did something like that actually work consistently? Like I've proven it seems
Well,
in
the
my
script
opinion
broke
that
before, and now we know the solution to that.
Yeah.
I would still make the argument that then there should be like, multiple avenues of making drones. Like you shouldn't just be forced to do the shield tanking if you want viable drones. I think there should be the option to have like evasive or fast drones. Like why can, someone like a Bryce fly around the arena like shooting and making it hard to shoot him and not the
Because
drones? Like,
he's pressing WASD, that's the difference. You
I
have 4 players.
I don't know. Both are
plus a
equally
slot.
annoying to deal with.
If I may interject,
Good.
whilst we're mentioning the various types of drones, I recall back in the day when SRMs were a reloading missile, Darth created a cassette of SRM drones, which were very mobile, very rapid, and essentially circled your ship, dumping SRMs into you. How would you consider that into the supposed drone tactic? Because it's not just drones that fly around.
SRMs are a fixed weapon. Into the trash.
Yeah,
Well, hello.
it's more
The
like
rule on
the
drones
permanent
is they
weapons
need to
now.
be spawned in on a stick.
Hmm.
And then after they're spawned in on a stick, you can spawn them in individually to actually
I'm
cap the climbing cost.
using the SRMs as an example, not as the rule. Like there's
That's what
plenty
we
of other
want
weapons you can shove onto it.
to do, though, right?
Hmm.
Circle people and fly close.
Well, swarm people, so they've got a sphere of damage coming into them.
Well, yeah.
So
I
long
mean,
as the
if you
drones
ban
are
fixed
orbiting
weapons on
below
drones,
6 kilometers.
yeah, I was about to say, like, if you automatically remove fixed weapons on drones, they literally, like, most of the turret weapons you can even fit on them have to be, like, below 6 kilometers or even much shorter. So that problem kind of solves itself. Like, the drones automatically have to get within range to damage you.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot less depressing with them flying around.
Also, another thing which I had tested, it's like when you have drones circling much shorter, it's a lot easier to get them to like bump into asteroids or other physical goals,
Yeah,
or
and you
even
know you're under
crossfire
attack.
to your teammate. So like they only are like they only become quote unquote really oppressive is when they have like a long range weapon that negates like most of their weaknesses, and they absolutely have weaknesses.
Like Sylvius.
I mean,
no,
because you can be really
So-
fast when they're swarming you. And they'll collect on one edge.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
I would like to voice my fatwa on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I get in line after invalid?
You're in line
Sure.
Thank you.
So it's fun to engineer and is cool to make argument was tried with PMWs, and it is fun once, and then that's all I use.
That is one other good point.
But
There is
wasn't the
no
main-
innovation or engineering once you find the optimal strat.
So I think actually, let's shift gears a bit here. You know the upgradable thrusters I was just talking about?
Right.
The problem with the drones is the power to weight, the amount of thrust they have versus the weight, and they can't be that heavy. So if you could massively increase their available power to weight and pay for it, and actually make them capable of keeping an orbit that is reasonable to fight against, would that be a solution?
I think you'd just be empowering drones at that point.
No, I don't think you would, because like if you give them like better thrust to weight, so you can make them larger, they'll still be pretty easy to kill, because their only active way of dodging the target is just strafing, circling. They're not like Bryce. They can't
Mm.
actively dodge anything. And as we've seen in the past, it's like, it's Bryce's or Augustus's or Tysel's ability to, or Toomer's ability to see the fire incoming and to rapidly roll or shift their position. It's not just being able to go that fast.
But the most optimal way to dodge is accelerate in 3 directions at once.
Which
Yeah.
drones can't really do. They only
They do.
go in a circle.
They circle.
do.
That
That
is
they're
what
using 3
accelerating
directions
3
of
directions
thrust.
at once.
What I'm
And
hearing
yeah.
invalid from your statement is that we should definitely bring back PMWs because the game has
No.
changed and PMWs
I was
Funny.
about to say,
Mm.
Funny
wasn't
guy.
the most contentious part about
Unironically,
PMWs was
less
the fact
cancerous.
that like they just did random damage too. Like I that was
No.
my big gripe.
My favorite part is when they crash hit the server because all the BMW scripts were programmed specifically to cause the most pain to everybody, including the server.
I would also like to take a moment to point out that
Thank you, I've seen
I once successfully replaced a 7,000 point ship teammate who had to step away with the follow me formation drone, and we won that fight, and it worked incredibly well. Like you
Yeah,
can
what
in
if you
fact
actually put
make
money
larger,
into the drone?
Yeah, you can actually make
Yeah.
larger drones that are, full ship size and make them successful.
Which
Yeah,
And I would
is
like to
the
interrupt
I-
Tiberius
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
again, so we could hear
I mean,
Tiberius.
the
Yeah,
person who wanted
Tiberius
to
was
go
skipped
first.
over. Tiberius was skipped over.
Oh yeah.
Let's roll
Right.
back.
Yeah. Go Tips.
Thank you. I was actually going to bring up the point of what Wiseman was just talking about. I don't think we should remove fixed guns from the drones. We should just make them, you must be this fat to participate, which would mean you would have to build them to be an actual ship instead of a disposable piece of equipment,
I
which
like
would make
this as
them
well.
viable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
that's
If you
actually what I was gonna
invest
suggest.
into it, if drones are meant to replace a player, make the player's ship a drone.
but
We've
there's
seen
no
it
way to make
before.
a ship as viable as a player that's that big.
Yeah.
It's like any decent team is going to focus that target down relatively fast.
Okay,
And
Okay,
so-
no,
would be
no,
a-
I'm literally saying you take a ship that you could fly as a person.
that's what
and-
I'm saying. A drone in a Starcore ship is not. That's not viable. I think
You
they
just
can't
have
act
to.
I
like
think we
a
should try it.
person.
I think
I
we should
think
try
we
it because
should
I think
try
it
it.
is more viable than you think.
If I
Especially
may-
with Golden Olive.
Here's a
That
counterpoint.
is the engineering challenge. You make a drone that can fly a Starcore ship.
If I may
So-
step in for a moment.
Go ahead, Janek.
If there is a minimum mass limit to drones, the biggest reason to use drones right now is that they're impossible to hit. But now that they're possible to hit, it's a straight downgrade to just having 50 teammates. So what if they were allowed to automate shields in addition to having a minimum mass?
Minimum mass with automated shields on drones.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
because
auto
there's-
shunting drone script doesn't even really work. How would they automate shields?
You can automate shunting easily enough, but you can't really automate modulation. But
Stupid
shunting is a
question.
huge difference.
If drones are able to automate shields, that means, in theory, you could just put a programming block and automate your own shields.
Well, not if we have a rule against it.
Yeah,
If
we
it's
need
not
to
enforced mechanically, it will not be enforced.
Now,
Yeah.
You've
the auto
said that a
shunting.
million times, but we've enforced plenty of things with rules, and it's worked fine for most of the history of the format.
Nothing stopping you from
Most of
going
the
over
history of the
Control X
format
and-
is 15 dudes at a LAN party.
Nothing stopping you from going over Control X and anime at any time.
Yeah, and how many times has it happened?
Tumor on Big Rig once.
He's the Control X king.
Yep, that was a bit of an
It's not
end
like
goal,
this
though.
It's not,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm saying.
Friendly fire.
I think it's a non-issue.
So
I'm leery about the auto
compromise,
shunting thing, but
yeah.
go ahead, 60.
Yeah, since I've tried to talk for like the last 10 minutes.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, it's all good. The primary thing with like the min mass limit is it could be a case of if you want to run a drone, it has to be like minimum 1 million. If you want to run a drone with fixed weapons, it needs to be X million mass. So it's like, okay, if you want to run fixed weapons and make use of drone aimbot bullshit, you need to invest into the drone. It needs to be, above this height to enter. And that weight could be, whatever it is you want to be. So that means that if you actually have to invest something, and then there's a reason to build that bigger sort of drone. And that means that you can also take advantage of the reason to use drones by having the small piece of shit flying very fast. Likewise, those thrusters could make a difference there. The counterpoint I want to bring up here is the other thing that makes drones very useful is that they are not tracked. A tracked grid, if you shoot at it, the prize you get is killing that grid and taking 200 points off the board, or 200 tickets off the board for the enemy. That's a significant fraction of like the enemy team's points. So
they're
shooting at something that isn't tracked is effectively dead time. You're not getting any closer to, you're not reducing the enemy's ability to capture zones. You're not reducing their total number of tickets. So in that sense, there is a very definite reason to run a drone grid. Like, it does mean that you've got, one other grids become more of a focus. But if it was a case of, say, like Spartan running the Charybdis and then, three sort of, or, a number of Gucci out drones, it's like, okay, well, he's going to sit in the cap and cause problems, and then there's no reason to target the drone, so he's the one that gets focus fired, but those drones can put in work.
So you're forcing the enemy to make a choice between shooting the ship that's going to get them to victory if they kill, or dealing with the drones that are doing damage to them. And they can do damage to both, but they have to pick one.
Yeah. Like, there's the value in taking a drone off the board is that there's one less drone to worry about. But on the other hand, taking a ship off the board means that there is one less ship to worry about, one less thing to cap zones, and one less, 200 less tickets on the board.
Yeah.
So that's an argument I don't see people making for why you would actually use drones. And there is definitely a value of, a value in there. So, but yeah, the other part is I did like to Beerus's idea of, you need to be this heavy, but also, you need to be this heavy to use fixed guns, you need to be this heavy to be a drone.
I don't like it because it seems so arbitrary.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking arbitrary when it gets down to
It's
it.
arbitrary to say you need to make an actual ship that would be a ship.
Wow.
Not a disposable
on
garbage
these
can.
SRBs that are on interior pillars. Oh no, the enemy shot them off. The drone
Yeah,
is
I was
now
about to
blasting
say,
them.
like, it's you say that, and then, like, an Ares shot pens, like, the antenna or the programming block, and now your 8750 drone buddies effectively useless.
And if it goes to the cockpit of your ship,
3 programming blocks.
I got 2 other cockpits.
it'll reload in a bit, 30-something seconds.
I just feel
I
like
could fire a lot more than 3 times, buddy.
Like it would be too easy to nullify. Like the reason why drones are even viable in the first place is because of like part of the redundancy. Like if something goes wrong with one, you don't have to worry about it too much since like you got some of the others to carry up the slack.
Which is fine if we're going for a totally competitive mindset. If my intent is to try and make this a situation where it's actually fun to fight, it's not going to be against sniper drones. That's just a reality. Like, yeah, you can kill the drones, that's fine. But it's not fun to fight them at that kind of range or speed. Like, if you can't hit the enemy grid, then why even shooting at them to begin with? Because their main defense is not being hit, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the same thing. Like I said, it's the same thing with like fast grids. It's
Is
like,
it? Because I've seen Bryce half fucked up win matches.
I don't
also,
know. I mean,
remember...
I'm saying that in terms of fun to fight, it is not fun to try to snipe someone going at speed cap and then seeing my turrets completely miss.
Yeah. Imagine doing that, but with like 8 small pieces of shit that are at 7 kilometers and firing,
Well, if we do the fixed weapon ban, then
this is the last time we're having this discussion, by the way, you nerds. Same thing every month.
Hang on, Enderoth right here says he loves fighting small grids. That's it.
Yeah,
we have to make them all fat now.
Anyway, what was the other person that wanted to speak? I think I heard somebody.
Oh, sorry.
That's in.
I
Oh yeah, there you go.
assuming that drones get turned into this thing where it's like, oh, this is like a ship and it's a stand-in for a fucking, friend who couldn't make it in time or whatever the plan was for that. What's stopping like someone from just slapping a programmable block on their 8750 and then claiming it's a drone that just happens to have an ass in the seat at the start and then like copping out, going into F8 and letting it do the fucking aiming across the map?
Hey guys, I know what something we should complain about is that I haven't been there.
Not a good time.
Oh, sorry.
He leaves.
What the fuck, Bonnie? Get back in here.
Absolute
The
legend.
man may as well be on drugs.
I think he is.
God damn it, Bonnie.
Overall,
That's
I agree
Bonnie,
with
don't you
Enroth's
mean?
point.
What was this? I wasn't reading what.
Either way, the drones as they currently exist is a way to sneak in aimbot. That's just
So if we
that's just a
remove
reality
the-
situation.
I mean, removing fixed weapons from drones literally solves that. Turrets aren't aimbot, so
Yeah, that's a pretty clean solution, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it is literally usually we try to go with like the path of least resistance.
We
and if
can't
they're
do it
still
because I
resistant,
suggested it.
We can.
We must find something else.
The last thing I'll say on drones is that I think we should at least try it as they currently are, just without fixed weapons. And if they prove to be a problem, then we could either get rid of them entirely or do the other suggestion of making a mass minimum. But I think mechanically the simplest thing to try is just eating the problematic weapons on them.
What
Alright.
7-kilometer spam turret is compact enough to spam? Oh, wait a minute.
Invalid, I'm going to shit yourself into the sun. I need a gavel.
There's something else with drones is do we flat out ban custom turret controllers?
Fixed guns
Nah,
is fixed guns.
those will always be
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Do you allow fixed guns
But
that way? Do you not?
a CTC on a drone would count as a fixed gun on a drone, so we're just not even going to go there. But
Yeah.
CTCs aiming and doing stuff, yeah, that is in one way of looking at it a bit of an aimbot, but also they're a huge liability. Like even getting the stupid things to shoot most of the time is a struggle for a lot of people, even people who are familiar with CTCs. So it's a little different. But I like the solution of no fixed guns on drones. There you go, and we'll just use the recommend script. Nice. But that doesn't solve this other one of not every fixed gun is problematic for drones. So the blacklist that I was talking about before of just finding problematic weapons that could be a problem. So the long range hit scan stuff, the long range very fast stuff, and try that.
What I'd say is allow the secondary fixed guns as a test bed because they are short range. What's the max range on all of them? Below 5 kilometers.
You got the Samus.
However, the focus
and Artemis.
No, wait.
Artemis, fixed beam.
Secondary fixed guns would be the only ones allowed, is what I'd say.
Okay.
So the section above primary.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
right. They're named differently.
So
when I
those
say don't bother for sudden force mechanically, I'm thinking, what if 100 people join tomorrow and some of them want to build cool things?
Okay, here's the list of weapons that you can't use on drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the
Yeah.
list. Don't do
How do we
it.
enforce this mechanically, though?
I mean, unless the grid literally deletes itself when you put a blacklisted weapon on it.
I don't think that'll
Like-
be the case.
Same thing. No.
Have the team
If it is a
flag check
problem,
them.
then
if
we
get
can
like
revisit
100
this.
people.
But I don't think
Exactly.
that is going to be a particular issue.
I was going to say, to counter that, all you need is a document somewhere on the website that people can point to and say, this is the reason why.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Even that
I mean,
FloatSam server, the one that had all the issues, like it just had a list of things that you couldn't put on, and people.
I'm back.
did
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I've constantly referred to the Starcore rules why people couldn't do this or that, particularly in regards to the old speed hack with putting half your weight onto a subgrid.
I'm back to talking. I'm back to talk about the possibility of if we get huge and mechanically not able to enforce things, because I have some
Bruh.
amount of experience in this from other competitive scenes, specifically like Total War Warhammer, where their competitive scene is just big enough that like they have many matches going at once, especially early in the brackets, and it's just up to the two players to report the winner, which would be how we would have to do these going, much bigger. And in those cases, they have had to enforce community rules that aren't in game against certain cheesy strategies or units that are actually just OP and had to be banned. And in that case, it is up to the players in those matches to report it to admins, and the admins review it.
Yeah, there's just going to need to be some disconnect between the game mechanics and rules in game for some esoteric stuff and stuff like this, where it's more of a case of this isn't even remotely fun to try and fuck with, so let's just not, and we'll all agree to that, smile and nod, and move on.
With something as easy as looking at the Shifty Armaments menu and seeing that, oh, that's an Artemis.
Yeah,
That's a fixed gun on your drone. I think it's pretty.
Just
easy.
have a nice whitelist of guns that you can put on drones that are fixed.
A fully automated game mode. Fuck.
Yeah, that ain't happening. At least not without a lot of scripting anyway.
I mean,
Well, speaking of,
I think we should try to automate as much of our rule set as possible, but it is not the end of the world if we can't, and there are some things we just have to enforce.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna
think
say,
that's
I
fine.
think we're just gonna have to enforce it the old-fashioned way, because how are you gonna be able to tell the computer reliably, this is drone, this is not
Guns
drone?
for
binary.
drones. There we go. Whitelist of fixed gun for drones. I'll put together a proper list of what you can put on a drone that is a fixed gun, and it should be fine.
You prevent cockpits from being on drones, and then you somehow have something that looks for a grid that doesn't have a cockpit that applies that white list. I don't know.
Then you do 8 backflips, and they all clapped.
All right, J-Nick, this sounds like it's your alley.
Yeah, go program that mess. It'll be fine. No, I think just having the whitelist of fixed guns on drones for now will be fine. I'd prefer to see everybody using the same drone script, so if there's any issues, there's any concerns, there's any thoughts, then we can just go to Janik and say, hey, this thing needs to change. There you go, buddy. And then we can all help out each other rather than flipping back and forth between different drone scripts.
I was gonna say, is that going to be enforced now? Because I do prefer the other drone script. It's just easier to work with.
The one that requires PID tuning is easier to work with.
I've never had it.
He found a working design on the side of the road.
I don't know.
So long as people copy your design exactly, then they can get the same experience.
I know.
I think it's well, I prefer it, and I haven't had problems with them.
Yeah,
Since
I mean,
PT2.
So are you gonna put a copy of that where the rest of the scripts are then?
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what
do
I'm
that.
hearing. Cool.
It's
Alright.
not proprietary knowledge. Anyone can take a copy of the drone.
Well,
You
try
guys
that.
getting your warranties void. We're trying to get them to work though, because even I have to follow a checklist before every single match to make sure.
Which
they
I'm
don't
sure
fuck
you'll
up.
include with the post.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine then. So whitelist on drone fixed weapons. You get 2 scripts to pick one. One is the circle the target. The other one is the follow you, and it can go attack the target if you want. There's your options.
Yeah. If the circle strafing also provide, even with the limit on fixed weapons, I will give it up if it becomes too problematic, and I won't fight it getting banned as well. Because at the end of the day, it is probably better to just focus on one whitelist script. So.
Yep, I agree, but that should be fine. Now, anybody else have anything to say on that?
Nope, just Spartan, there's a new script repository page in the Starcore events area.
Yeah, I'll get a write up. I'll copy the script from my drone and then get a write up how to get it working properly each time.
If you check my workshop, you'll see everything you need.
No,
Actually, I'll just link it to you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Please do yell at me immediately if you have any problems at all with Rocketman. I do not want to be the cause of a team
Getting owned,
killing
yeah.
themselves.
So
at least not intentionally.
We'll touch off on the auto shunt thing. That's a no, never.
Oh man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Half because that shit doesn't work very well at the best of times, and is laggy in most of the cases, but also because just shunt the fucking drone's shields forward. It's fine.
Wait, actual question, why would it be laggy?
How many times do you think they're polling?
How many times are they asking what's going on?
You already have the vector to the enemy. You can cache like literally everything. I
Yeah.
don't understand.
You sure can. It'd be a shame if just nobody did.
Yep.
Oh,
I would like to point out that it's still
Alright.
on the list of a blacklist.
Yep.
On the website.
And it will stay that way until somebody
Yep.
can put together a PowerPoint presentation to convince me otherwise. Aside from
Okay.
that,
Alright, Nick, go.
here's my to-do list
Oh,
on
hi.
screen here. Let me know if you need to
There is
Oh,
a
talk anything about.
comment.
There's a message from Big Rig through Tumor.
All right. I have a message. Common Asterius. Daddy needs a buff. Oh, come on, Asterius. Daddy needs a buff.
Common Asterius.
The common woodlouse Asterius.
There is a comment on your Twitch chat from Max about medium lasers.
Sorry, Max. Flying cat. Medium lasers could use a bump as they're worse large lasers right now, but don't put them over the current large laser range. That was the point. With the medium lasers, they were supposed to just be large lasers, but worse.
Quick, Janik, if you can find the cause of the PB not loading its edit button the first time, I'll let you add any script you want.
Damn.
Yeah, have fun with that. I don't know if the Artemis
Yeah.
needs buffs. Yeah.
When I add the longsword points recommendation, I'm having it to 2 for now. What do you think its point should be? It fires an napalm.
1,500?
Have you seen it?
I have not seen it in action. Does it work?
Lisa just
Yes,
points
it does
we've
work.
seen it.
It's fire. It hurts. I could not get it to stick, sadly.
This is so sad.
Yeah, but
Um,
I could make it. I could have variants with like other bombs that fires like I don't know if you ever played EVE Online, the bombers in that game, where they're like 10-second travel time and you got to dodge or take some damage.
So like a torpedo run.
Yeah, torpedo run.
You know, that might not actually be a terrible idea. Yeah, torpedo run, longsword, and it fires a torpedo, and if you're not out of the way by the time the torpedo gets there, you get the oof hours, and it's a nice, big, obvious run-up kind of thing. Then if it survives and warps out, then you get it back. If not, well, you don't.
That's what it does currently.
Excellent. What's the points you think?
400.
400?
I was gonna do about 350.
I went way too far above spitballing on that one.
We'll call it 400 for now.
Currently.
Okay.
They aren't.
Oh no, not longsword. Sorry, brain fart. Never mind.
There we go.
Cool.
Let's see. I think the one thing I wanted to ask Janik was, I think you could throw together a drill.
A drill?
A drill. A ship
Oh,
drill.
yeah,
An anti-ship drill.
I have that in the works already, actually.
Oh, okay. We're
For
on the
like
same
2
page. I
months
don't
now.
need to.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, I don't need to crawl up your ass and tell you to do your work. So, do your best.
Fuck.
Valid, please. I desire a bomb jetpack shape, gravity well deploy thing that I control
Well?
people who are chasing me.
What?
It would be amazing.
A gravity,
Gravity
well
bomb launched by the torpedo. That's pretty cool.
I'll have a jetpack on the back of me, kind of like Slave One or whatever from Star Wars, but instead of a disc of damage, it's the sun launcher, but without the damage part. It just I deploy a gravity rift, +2 to your piloting check. I don't know.
So you want a
just
seismic
want it.
charge, but not a seismic charge.
I mean, we could also do seismic charge, but I specifically want gravity
That kind of
charge.
toes into the Grim Stops that 60 was working on. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
See if
I-
the concept works and then expand on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started that and basically the field E-War is cursed, so I have to do it in a different way.
Uh-huh.
Smart.
It works, but it's cursed and it like breaks my game sounds entirely.
Yeah,
when
that
it
means
goes
you've
off.
gone too far. You are an order of magnitude too much.
Yeah.
That specific issue is the 3 like reference options, like oh the forest comes from here and goes over there, have to be set a perfect way, or else it's going to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, no,
You
the
just
last
have to process of elimination.
I'm going to probably work on this work more on those after this, because for the last approximately 10 days I have been absolutely fucking shafted by work. So
Yep,
I actually have time
understand.
now, which is nice.
I've had several days where I've needed to cut a hole into my drywall and clamp a pipe so it would stop leaking.
Jeez.
It was really good. And by really good, I mean it's fine. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now. Now, does anybody want to just say anything they like? Floor's open.
Invalid. Can you DM me your plugin list, please?
Oh.
All right.
Combat
No,
Core
actually,
Good is
it's in the plugin channel at the top.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
that
it?
is his list.
Yeah, the
I
list up
screenshotted
there.
it.
Weird.
Include toolbar plugin.
I would like to state for the record, I do not want to shoot people through my monitor because I currently do not have a firearm.
What happened?
So if you had a firearm.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. We have to be specific now.
Yeah.
Better than shooting someone through the monitor is shooting them through the air, because the monitor will often deflect the bullet.
Well, if I'm going to shoot them
Are you
through the
gaming
air, I
with
wouldn't.
bulletproof monitors?
Yeah,
That's
you
a
don't?
pretty thick
It's just
monitor,
a really
man.
old monitor.
How do you,
Yep.
like, go to work? Fuck,
What?
Jesus, Spartan.
The
How do you
edge,
live in
the
the streets
glass.
without a bulletproof monitor?
Yeah.
You
The
know
glass
what?
is 2
You're
inches
right.
thick.
Everything
I
needs
live
to
in the
be bullet.
intercity. I really should get my game up.
Do you not protect your
day.
do you not protect your computer from a Leclerc main battle tank?
Fuck.
I'm sorry, I don't care about
I
French.
love that channel.
It's such a good channel.
All right, that's enough. We're done.